Hello and welcome to this Big Brother 13 reunion. We've got a great lineup, including the winner, Luke. Unfortunately, Dina and Adam were meant to be on this reunion but couldn't make it, but I'm hoping to get solo interviews with them a little bit later on in this series. Don't forget to come back on Monday for our Big Brother 14 reunion. It's one not to be missed. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got another special Big Brother reunion today, which I'm really excited about. So let's introduce the housemates that are on the call now. We're going to be joined by a couple later on in the call, but let's say hello to Ashley. How are
Hi,
you?
good. How are
Yeah,
you?
really good, thank you. And we've got Benedict, which looks incredible. You've literally got changed.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm a little bit warm, but apart from that, I'm okay. Thank you.
And then
Thank
we've
you for
got.
inviting.
Thank you so much for coming on. Then we've got the winner of the show, of course. I'm so excited that you're on. Let's say hello to Luke.
Hello, you're
How
right.
are you?
Good, thank you. All good. Excited to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. And then someone that's been on my show years ago, used to be a guest on my radio show. Let's say hello to Lauren.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for coming on. And then the person with the most incredible hair out of every reunion that we've done. Let's say hello to Siobhan. I
Hi.
love that. It looks amazing. You look incredible.
Thank you. Babe, the humidity with that heat wave we had did not help. Got our hands. Wild.
So what I wanted to ask everyone, I'll start from Ashley, we'll work our way down, which is, what was it about Big Brother at the time for you that made it appealing, that made you want to take part in the show? Was it something kind of specifically for you? So starting with Ashley, what was it about the show that made you want to take part?
Do you know what? I've always loved Big Brother. I've always loved the show. I used to watch it with my family and I used to think I love it. Like I wanted to go on that show. I reckon I would have been at that time I thought, oh, I would love to be. I'd love to be a really good housemate. But what was it? I don't really know. It was just the whole experience of it, you know, going in a show with another 10 or 12 people that you don't really know. It's like it's amazing it's like a social experiment, and it really was really good. That's probably the reason why I wanted to go on the show, because of the social experiment of being away from, you know, my family, my friends, and seeing how I, you know, interact with that and how I got on being in the big world on my own at 20 years old.
And that was the thing, you were talking before we come on air that you were only 20 when you went in there. And that's such a young age to be put in that environment, and there's a lot of growing afterwards. And it's just so, you know, the way you were reflecting on it there, it's kind of a lot's changed for you since your time in the
Yeah,
house.
definitely. I've just grown up. You know, I'm a woman now. I'm established. I'm 29 years old. We're supposed to get married this year. Obviously, Corona messed that up a little bit. But you know, that's okay. But yeah, it's one of those things. You just, you know, when you're older, you look back on when you was 20, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little mouthy, you know, don't care about anybody kind of attitude. And you know what, you grow older and you become more wiser. And you know, that show, I will say one thing, it has shaped me as a person. 100%. It shapes you as a person, and it's helped me deal with the way that I deal with things now. I think back then I used to deal with I was quite an angry person, and I used to handle things very like not in a very nice way, especially with people, and you know. But yeah, I've definitely improved.
And what about for you, Benedict? What was it about the show that was appealing that made you, you know, really want to take part?
Okay, I'm going to give you two honest answers. Like Ashley, yes, first of all, I had watched Big Brother, particularly when it started, and always thought it was a very, the concept was very interesting. I like the social experiment aspect of it, like Ashley said. I like the idea of going on and meeting different people, interesting people, being able to flash into some interesting discussions and debates. But the other honest answer, while on that show that year, I was actually asked to go on it. So, and I hadn't actually watched it for several years. That's why that year I thought, okay, there's the opportunity, I'll go on.
Wow, they approached you to actually take part in the show.
The story started actually. I was asked to go on, not as a housemate, but on the Celebrity Big Brother beforehand, to go on and be part of a task where I had to take my clothes off for some reason. I don't know. And but that task never happened. And then several months later, I got an email in my inbox that said, "Thank you for applying for Big Brother." And I thought, well, I've never applied for Big Brother. What the hell are you talking about? And I thought at the time it was my foster son who had applied for me or something as a joke. And then about within a day, I got a message from the same producer who contacted me for the task saying, "We really like you. What would you be interested? We put your name forward." And I still had to go through some of the process. I wasn't automatically put in.
Yeah.
I still had to go through some of the auditions, but I had a bit of an advantage in that respect.
That's awesome. Moving over to Luke, obviously, you know, the winner of the show. What was it about the show for you? Because you were such a great housemate. You were someone that got on with everyone. And what I liked about you was you understood everyone, that you didn't judge people. You were someone that was approachable. So what was it about the show that you kind of really enjoyed and wanted to take part?
Well, I've always enjoyed Big Brother. I will say I preferred it when it's in Channel 4, you know, when it's like back to basics, proper social experiment. But I applied mainly, it was a bit selfish really. I wanted to use it as a platform to come out as trans, because at the time, everyone I worked with and everyone didn't know that I was trans. So I was sick of lying every day and I wanted to be my true self. So I thought, what better way to do it than do it on TV? And then the second reason as well, linked with that, is that I wanted to have more visibility for trans people, because I know that when I first started transitioning, there wasn't a lot of people on media doing it. The only sort of places you could find it was on YouTube and things like that. So that's why I wanted to do it, you know.
And did you have people, from you being on the show, did you have people reach out and say it's thanks to you that it gave them the courage to be themselves? Did you have people that kind of say it was thanks to you that they are now where they are?
More than I ever imagined.
Wow.
And it's fantastic. It's humbling. It's nice to know that I've helped someone, you know, to be the genuine selves.
I absolutely love that. And moving over to Siobhan, what was it about the show for you that made you want to take part in it originally?
So like literally a mix of basically what Ash and Benedict both said. Like I was definitely, same like Luke, back in the day, Davina, Channel 4, that era, like when it first came out, I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, these are like real people, like humans who are going into this show. And it's just, it blew my mind that you're living in this house and you just be yourself and either the public love or hate you. Like the concept was just crazy. So then obviously, like, I wanted to apply, but my mum was like, are you going to act normal on there? It's a bit risky. Obviously things went downhill. But like, I never thought I'd get on it. Even as I was going through all the audition process, I kept thinking, now they're not going to pick me. I'll get out of here. They're not going to pick me. Then it was like, oh, you've picked me. I thought, oh, wow, this is real. But it was just a fun experience. Like, I didn't think I was going to get on the show, but I knew that I probably would have fun on there, but obviously not as much fun as I really did have. But it was definitely something that I was like, this is a big opportunity. Do it, see what happens, go from there. Absolutely loved it.
And what about for you, Lauren? What was it about the show that made it appealing for you, and what, you know, made you want to take part?
So I was around 8 or 9 years old when it started, and basically everyone in my household was a massive fan, especially my mum. So the reason I auditioned, I'd rang my mum from I'd just done a year in uni, and all my friends were off to Zante on holiday for the summer holidays. And being a poor uni student, I had no money. And so she was like, no, I'm not giving you the money. Why don't you just go and audition for Big Brother instead? So I sort of did it to kind of like get one back on her, because she said, I'll go and audition for Big Brother. She loved it. So I thought, right, can't go to Zante. I might as well do that then. Obviously at the time I was studying criminology, psychology, so the whole sort of social experiment like really interested me. And yeah, just being a young, dumb 20-year-old, I thought it'd be good fun.
I mean, what I liked about your series in particular was, from an audience point of view, you had people like Connor, you had Aaron, and I mean, they would probably consider themselves the cool guys of the show, but this was where I felt the audience really kind of switched on, and you looked at their behavior towards some of the housemates, you know, including Dina, and that's where the audience really started to realize that that behavior wasn't okay. And I think that's when you look at the people, I mean, you know, Luke won the show. It was the genuine nice people that had gone far, you know. And I think that's when the audience, from a fan's point of view, we suddenly realised that actually it's not okay to be obnoxious. There's no need to you know, belittle people like they were. So what was it like? I want to ask everyone, what was it like to be in the house with so many different characters? Because I mean, you look at Connor, you look at Aaron and some of the people in there. Was it hard for any of you to be around those type of personalities?
Luke, I'll let you answer this one.
Okay, I'll answer honestly. For me, I'm not really a sociable person anyway. So there was a lot of louder people. Doesn't mean I didn't like them. Yeah. Like Siobhan was fantastic housemate. So funny. But I'm like quite a quiet person. So I think big characters like that I didn't really mingle with to start with, because I'm such a I just smoke all the time. That's, you know, that was my safe haven. And then as the show went on and the paranoia sort of grew, I think everyone was in groups by then. So it was like for survival, people went to, I don't know, maybe I'm being crazy. I don't know. That's just how it felt. It's in that house. It feels so hard sometimes. It's like you can't escape.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What about for you, Ashley? What was it like for you being around so many kind of different personalities?
Well, I think, you know what, for me, it's more, I'm quite a social person anyway. So I felt like I could have easily like adapted. The thing is with me, I'll be completely honest, is that I actually think I suffered with a bit of anger issues back then. And I think I got very, I judged people very quickly, because I was naive. I was a bit immature, didn't really know how the world kind of worked. I know that sounds ridiculous when you're 20 years old, but that's how I felt. But yeah, I think I enjoyed listening to other people. I enjoyed meeting different people, you know, and that's the reason why I went on the show, because I wanted to meet all different walks of life. Yeah, so for me, it wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it.
I mean, I know earlier, I think, you know, Luke mentioned about kind of Channel 4 series and that being the peak Big Brother. But for you guys, I mean, you got to think, when you were on the show, Twitter was huge. Facebook, you had every part of social media, which was part of your experience. So what was that like to come out and realize that people have had an opinion of you? And because a lot of people that I've interviewed, social media wasn't such a big factor of their experience. So I'd love to ask you guys, how did you find the social media side of things? Did it cause anxiety? Did you hate the fact that people had an opinion? Like, tell us how it felt. So start from Ashley and we'll work our way down.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? It was the funniest thing. I remember coming out of the show and someone gave me my phone, and I remember having 500 followers on Twitter before I went in there. Then it went to 34,000, and wow. I had messages upon messages, you know, some good, some bad, especially the bad ones. You know, you don't realize, because you've been thrown into a situation like that, you come out and it's like people recognize you. People, you know, are judging you straight away because of what you was like on the show, which is absolutely fine. You know, everyone's got a right to their opinion. But it was, I think for me, I think I did struggle a little bit with anxiety when I come out of that show, the show, because it's a lot to take on, you know, especially, and I think to myself now, like, now you've got Instagram, which is massive, you know, like all of these big social tools. Realistically, yes, Twitter was a big social tool, but I think Instagram's bigger now, you know, and but yeah, I did struggle, yeah, a little bit, but I guess that's part and parcel of going on TV.
What about for you, Benedict? How did you find the social media side of things? You know, the opinions, the comments. You know, how did you deal with that when you came out of the house?
Well, I think in some ways, I had the advantage of, well, first of all, being that bit older. I mean, you have to remember, after Victoria went, I was the oldest person. I was only 32, which isn't that old, but I was still the oldest person in the house afterwards. And the other advantage that I had was I had already been in the papers and in TV a little bit because of my controversial story. So I'd already had a lot of social media comments from people who either supported me for what the choices I made in my life, and other people thought I was a disgusting, horrible, devil-like creature. So I'd already had to deal with negative and positive comments. And I think if I'd been much younger, if I'd been like Andy at 20 years old, or most of the guys, I think it could have been quite damaging for me. But I think you also have to remember, I had a lot of negative comments from people, and as well as a lot of positive comments. But I've never had one person come to my face and ever say anything negative to my face. I've had people sending me death threats to my foster son, racist comments, all those sorts of things, but never once anybody ever said it to my face. So you've got social media, there's positives and there's negatives, and obviously some of it comes with maturity and experience and learning how to deal with it. And that's one of the things that I feel really sorry for the younger housemates that they have to deal with.
And what about for you, Luke? Because obviously you going in there, you were a big talking point in the house. I mean, the press, the newspapers, a lot of people were talking about your story. So when you actually came out, I know you had a lot of support, but were there times where you came out and it got overwhelming for you? Because I know that I remember that you were a big talking point on social media.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, on social media, people's opinions were very polarizing about me. I had lots of people that were sending me lots of love and well wishes, and then on the other hand, it was like, I want to stab you. I'm going to find out where you work, where your missus works. I'm going to stab her. There was a group or something on YouTube on one of the Big Brother videos that were planning to come to the eviction to come and stab me. But you know, like Benedict said, they don't do anything to your face. It's just all online. But yeah, it's something you definitely have to get a thicker skin. And at first, it did hurt me. Some of the stuff people said, I'm like, am I really a terrible person? And then eventually, you just think, well, they don't know me really. I mean, worse. I'm joking. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? You just got to adapt and grow.
And what about for you, Siobhan? Because when I raised that point earlier about social media playing a part in your experience, you seemed to agree that it was, you know, a big part of it. So what were your experiences with that?
I think, you know, one thing I'm so grateful is that we didn't do the show in this current climate, just with how nasty social media, your Instagram, your TikTok, Snapchat. When we went in, social media was, you know, buzzing, but it's not like it is now. And obviously there are a lot less reality shows around that time. But you do come out, and it's almost like you're still in the Big Brother bubble, and you're still sort of like, okay, you're happy to see your family. And then as you kind of go back and start going back to normal life in your text messages, Twitter, like you get, like everyone said, you get really nice comments. And then like, even though you might get 6 good comments and 2 bad, those 2 bad would wipe out the good comments that you got, because it would just take something from your personality, like, oh, you know, I had things like, oh, you're not acting black enough. And then I had like, oh my God, you're acting like a white girl. And then it was like, okay, you're a bitch. And I thought, okay, babe, I am at times. So that was true. So I let that one slide. I was like, let's say that. But do you know what? I think it is literally, you have to really just be, I think if you've got a good network around you, you've got family, you've got friends, you kind of have to, it does toughen you up, but like it does toughen you up, because you're taking on people who you actually don't know. I call them Twitter thugs. Like, they're really strong online, but never want to do anything. You know, they're never coming to threaten you in your face. It's never that. It's always behind the screen. It gives them that power to say what they want. You know, kill yourself. Like Ben said, obviously he's had like horrific comments, and there's nothing you can do about it, but it still hurts, because you're like, am I all these things they're saying? Like, someone, maybe 3 people have said it. Is it true? You start doubting who you are. But I think, again, it's the experience. I think, obviously, with the aftercare as well. For me, I know it was actually really good. And any kind of doubts or any downtime I had, they were there. And then I also had my family, like, Siobhan, you're not that. Don't worry. We love you. You did what you could. You did your best. You came out a free woman, not in handcuffs. It's fine. So I think it's very much, I think it's very difficult for, it was difficult for me to kind of absorb how deep social media take reality TV. And that's definitely not something I ever put into consideration. And then obviously I figured it out when I came out. So yeah, it is crazy.
And have you been in a situation where someone that maybe has said something negative on social media, kind of years later, when they as a person kind of grow up and get a bit wiser, have they ever reached out and apologized and kind of said, look, I'm sorry for the things I said? Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, I had a troll who, no, when I tell you, this guy used to troll me like 24/7. Like, he would create new accounts to troll me. Like, he was going hard. And then he really was. And then literally, I think maybe like 2 years after, it was the same person that I was talking on Twitter, but I didn't know it was the troll. And the troll was a nice person. And then he actually confessed, and he was like, you don't know who I am. But I was like, I think it was something like Big Booty 05 or something. And he was like, that was me. And I'm like, what? And he was like, no, like, I trolled you just because I wanted to see you break, and you didn't break. I kept on arguing with him on Twitter. I didn't block him. I was like, yeah, arguing with him all the time. And I'm talking like up until maybe, he went far. And you know what? Honestly, I talk to him off social media every day. Every day.
Wow.
He's amazing. He's amazing. Like,
wow, that's interesting.
That's crazy.
He's awesome. I know. And I was like, who is this person? But then when he changed his social media name, because he'd done so much good and we had so much fun and so much love, by the time he told me he was that person, I was like, oh, it's a bit creepy. We moved. So yeah, like, obviously that's like an exceptional case, but
yeah,
I think he did realise. He was like, no, I actually just did it because I wanted to see that you would break, and you didn't. So.
And what about for you, Lauren? How did you kind of deal with that when you came out?
You know what? I had a completely different experience to everybody else. I really don't remember any stick out comments that like upset me. Obviously you get this and that, but I think because in the house I had such a hard time, and you know, I was really confused about who I was as a person, like my actions on the show and everything else. I had so much support on social media when I came out that I was so happy with it. You know, the whole me dobbing in Connor for talking about nominations and that making me hated in the house. I had so much support from people like, go on, girl, your morals are right. What you did was right. And like, I don't remember any trolls or anything. I get worse now than I did then, you know. Yeah. I had young girls contact me saying, you know, I'm getting bullied at school, what can I do? I had other people that were self-harming and things like that, and I'd speak to them on social media. And for me, it was just like a platform that, like, I could help people. I honestly, not a lot upset me. I think Alice on Big Brother's Bit on the Side, or whatever it was called back then, said like the worst thing about me. Said I looked like a horse or something like that. And that was the worst thing. Like, my social media, when I got out, I was so upset. I remember saying to my mum, like, am I a bad person? Like why didn't certain people like me? And she just gave me my phone. And she was like, just look at these messages, Lauren. So actually getting my phone back and going through all the social media, it was amazing. Like, the fans out there, they were so lovely. And to this day, I still speak to so many people and they still support me and things. So yeah, I had a really, really good experience, which I'm really grateful for, because yeah, we all know that I might have broke a few times in that house. And I think if I'd have had these experiences like Siobhan, I might have just had a breakdown. So no, social media was really good for me back then, and it sort of continued all the way through to now. So I love social media. That's just my age, isn't it?
I mean, not only in your series, there was a lot of drama, as we know, but there were a lot of fun times. So I want to ask everyone, for you, when you think about your experience in Big Brother, is there something that stands out as the funniest moment that you always remember and it makes you laugh? Like something that happened. So starting with Ashley, what for you always makes you laugh when you think about your experience and time in the house?
You know what? When I think about it now, it just kills me every time. Do you know what? It was probably when you all remember Caroline, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, basically, I remember Caroline, and we were sitting on the bed, and she was crying. like hysterically, and she was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. She went, but the more fatter I get, the more bitchier I get, and I can't help it. And I remember laughing so much about that when she said that. I think that was probably my funniest, that moment was probably my funniest moment, because that killed me. And I still think about it now, like, that is such a great statement. Like, fatter I'm getting.
No, it is.
It is. It should be on a bloody t-shirt.
No, babe, I was thinking to say that needs to be on a t-shirt.
I love her. What about for you, Benedict? When you think about your experience and your time in the house, what stands out for you as kind of a funniest moment that just makes you smile when you think about it?
Oh gosh. Well, one of them, I was just reminded this evening, Siobhan, every time she opens her mouth, she makes me laugh. I just love hearing you, Siobhan. I forgot how much you make me laugh. I remember even when I saw what people said about me in their house, and that they weren't always positive comments. I can't even remember what you said, Siobhan. I think it wasn't a very bad thing, but it was some criticism. And I just laughed out hysterically, just the way you said it. But apart from that, I was only in the house for 5 minutes, so I didn't really get to see an awful lot. But I suppose teaching Caroline about sex education was one of the things that sticks in my mind.
That is
wow. Oh my God, that was amazing.
Just having a chat with her about masturbation, I suppose.
She was such a good housemate. I mean, Luke, what about for you? Because you had a lot of fun moments in there, and you got on with so many people. So what stands out for you as your funniest moment?
Yeah. I want to say the good times outweigh the bad, but the best time, I think, the funniest thing for me was the first eviction, and we had a furniture malfunction. And everyone was cheering because Connor was saved, and the whole sofa hit and the big brother was everybody. And we just all laughed, and I think that was the last wholesome laugh we all had together.
After week 1, it just went downhill then.
It was good.
What about for you, Siobhan? What stands out for you as something that just always makes you laugh when you think back to it?
You know, literally, even as I've been thinking, it's about all, like, 5 of us here. So, like, one, obviously, Benedict took the whole chair, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't just walk out, have to take the whole. That is an iconic exit. I'm sorry. And he spun on the chair. Love it. And then Lauren, when we were in the garden, and we remember when we had our pants on, babe, and we were doing a cleanse.
Exercises.
So we were doing like a bum clench, and we were in sync, and we had a whole choreography, and we performed it. And we literally were lying there for hours just clenching, as you do. Luke, definitely the task where we had to breathe into, obviously this is pre-Rona, but we had to breathe into the mask. Do you remember that? Do you remember? And we were all like in that thing, and like we had to eat stuff, and then you had to breathe it to the next person to guess what it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was disgusting.
That's not a corona, is it? Jeez.
And then I think definitely always dragging Ashley along the floor, because that was my favourite thing to do, or just pick her up out of bed, roll her up in the bed sheet. Ashley's birthday party, love that, because me, Luke and Lauren, remember we didn't go. I always remember that. And we were locked in the bedroom just.
Sorry, guys.
And it was so hot.
It was so hot.
Oh God! If I could, I would have like get a little cake and just like shoved it through the.
But it was just so cute. And for your birthday, I thought, oh my God, like what an amazing way to spend your birthday in there, and it was awesome. So lots of good memories, defo.
Well, we're still waiting on Dina and Adam. They're meant to join, so I'm not sure what's happened there. So hopefully
Birmingham time.
At some point. But Lauren, what about for you? What stands out as kind of a funny moment that you always remember?
Okay, so does anyone remember when we had that task and Caroline had to eat that fish eye?
Yeah.
I remember her like crying her eyes out. And it's so horrible for me.
She had to do it twice.
I thought it was the funny, twice. I thought it was the funny thing. She was in this
that was
and the ink like dripping down her mouth.
Ooh.
Or when Benedict put the curry powder in Luke's protein. Freaking
Oh my God.
That was so good, Benedict. Not only did you take the chair out, you then got Luke a few days later. Amazing.
That was
Honestly,
gross.
there were so many though, and the whole laughing task that we had as well.
That was
Like,
amazing.
hilarious, but obviously we
Oh.
couldn't laugh.
Oh my God, that was actually hilarious as well. I love that part.
Do you remember
So
those
next up-
weird people that came in with the t-shirts and they were just laughing over and over?
Yeah,
Remember
Yeah.
that?
yeah.
that.
Just woken up and we were like, what?
This isn't funny. This is just weird.
So you just all spoke about your funniest moment and something that has fond memories. But for you in the house, obviously, a lot of us who watch, we will never know how difficult it is. So what is for each of you is the toughest thing about being in Big Brother? About your time in the house. So starting with Ashley, what did you find most difficult about actually being in there?
Do you know what? For me, I think I really was a homely person. I really missed my family a lot. Not having somebody there, like my friends or my family, telling me like, Ash, you're doing okay. Like, stop being so anxious about how you're acting. And I remember a time when I was in bed with Luke S, and we
Not me.
no, no, but I was Luke S, I had to put that in there. But yeah, I was in bed and I remember like getting a little bit cuddly and whatever, and then I remember walking out and I just burst out crying because I thought, oh no, people were going to judge me because people were going to think that I've had sex on TV, and I really got like anxious and really
Nothing wrong with that.
well, I mean, everyone's doing it these days, especially on Love
Oh
Island.
my God. No.
It's a different, back then it was a different world though. I feel like there was
It's a
quite a lot
different
more
world.
judge. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I remember that was probably one of my low points. That and the clown.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Snuggles.
Oh god.
Oh.
I nearly died.
He was creepy.
Oh, but yeah.
What about for you, Benedict? What did you kind of struggle with during your experience in the Big Brother house?
To be honest, not a lot really. I'm not really much of a lad, so being around sort of loud, obnoxious, laddie kind of people. But I'd been a teacher, so I'd had to deal with loud teenagers and stuff. To be honest with you, I found the experience a bit like being in an old people's home. All the food was provided. I just sit around chilling on the sofa or sleeping or sitting in the garden talking nonsense. It's good preparation for being an old person on the whole. So I didn't. There was nothing in there that I found particularly stressful, if I'm particularly honest.
And what about for you, Luke? Did you find anything particularly difficult during your time?
Apart from like confrontation, I think the most difficult thing was cooking for everyone most nights because
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, I mean,
Making
as soon as you say
mayonnaise
you're
from
a chef,
scratch.
everyone's like, hey, we've got a personal chef.
Yeah, that was-
Yeah, we had a vegan, didn't we? Who was the vegan?
Victoria.
Victoria, yeah, we had
Yeah.
Victoria to cater for, and then everyone was sneaking extra sausages and stuff like that, and there was it was carnage. I remember once Caroline was like, "Oh, this it's Caroline again. This steak pie is so nice." Or was it you, Ashley? I can't remember.
Might
I
have
was
been
like,
there.
yeah. I said, "Do you know what I thickened it with?" Because we didn't have anything to thicken it with, like basic rations. I said black pudding, and they were like,
And what about for you, Siobhan? What was kind of the hardest thing about your experience in there?
Well, my tooth, because if we all remember, I had the whole root canal.
Oh, I forgot.
I literally was slowly dying.
I
But it's
couldn't
weird.
believe that.
No, honestly, now I think back, I'm like, oh God, wow. I remember sleeping a lot at that time. But you know what? When you're in there, I think you're presented with the worst aspects of your personality that you actually don't know. Looking back now, I can see it. I can see how it's difficult if you have got one group of friends, but you want to be friends with the other group, and then you feel like you're in the middle, then you feel like you've got to choose. And those kind of things I would never do right now at this age. But then I remember thinking, God, it's like they're essentially your family when you're in there. You're going to be in this house with these people for X amount of weeks. They are all you have. And I think a lot of times that's why you get such good, strong friendships from reality shows, because essentially you're going through this journey with just these strangers that you've never ever met. And I think just in there, just dealing with the fact that, do you know what? Are you a good person? Are you not a good person? Why do these people not like me? Did I do enough? Did I not do too much? Like, I had a lot of internal kind of, you know, battles with who am I in this house? And I think obviously that comes with age as well. Even though I was older than a lot of people in there, not too old, because remember I'm 32 now, guys. Just add this up, okay? I'm 32. That's what my Tinder profile says, okay? But you know what? I think in there, it is very much finding yourself. It's definitely finding who you are, the best and worst aspects of your personality. And then obviously when you come out, you grow from that, you see. And looking back now, like Ashley said, like, reality TV is crazy now. That we were tamed. That is nothing to what they are doing now. Now it's a whole different industry.
It really is.
This, like, the things they get up to, I'm like, babe, we were good compared to what's going on now. But it was hard. It was hard, but then at the same time, you kind of just enjoy yourself and you just take it for what it is. But I didn't find it easy in there, but I had fun at the same time. If that makes sense.
And what about for you, Lauren? Was there anything that stands out as being particularly tough for yourself?
I think, like, to reiterate what Siobhan said, you know, just having that internal struggle with who you are and, like, continually asking yourself, like, why don't these people like me? What have I done wrong? I just turned 20. I was so young. I was so not ready for that sort of show, but I was there. But aside from that, I think when they put my sister in there, and choosing not to speak to my sister, that broke me. And, like, obviously we then went on to lose the task, and then for like weeks I was like, why didn't I just speak to her? Like, what was I doing? And even when I got home, she was like, you bitch, like, how could you not? Like, I flew all the way from Jersey and I stayed there backstage for hours and hours, and you wouldn't even look at me. So, like, that was really, really hard. And obviously having no bacon and no cigarettes was just, you know, that was
the struggle. So now what I would like to ask everyone, the last question for the reunion, which is kind of what life's been like since leaving the house, but what you all do now. So kind of tell us a little bit about what life's been like since Big Brother. So starting with Ashley.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, where do I start? It's been basically, I've just grown up. I've got a house now. I'm engaged. I've been with my partner for about 6 years, Steve.
Oh, nice.
We're kind of, you know, we're happy. We're looking now towards the future. So obviously once we get married next year, we're going to obviously have children and all of that. But yeah, when you do come out, it is a bit of a whirlwind. You don't really know what direction you're going to go. But at the moment, I mean, I'm a compliance officer. I work in Barking and Dagenham.
Oh,
yeah. It's all, I know. I'm in compliance. Can you believe it? like what's happened?
No, that is amazing.
It's just, I've just transformed myself really compared to what I was like at 20 years old. It's a lot, and it does make you realise going into a show like that. It does really, really, really shape you as a person, and you do mature. I really matured after I got out of that house, you know. So yeah, but I'll always be thankful for the show. Really, really thankful, and I have no regrets. I love meeting everybody, you know, and it was such a good experience.
That's amazing. And what about for you, Benedict? What's life been like since you've left the house, and what do you do now?
It's been a slow roller coaster of misery and disappointment. No, well, there've been moments, of course, we all have them. But no, I live in the Netherlands now. So, welcome in Nederland. Met jullie. I'm married, believe it or not, to a lady.
What? Really?
A lady. And we have I've been living here for 3.5 years. Before that, we were living in Spain. I was with the Dream Boys for a few years in England. I'm with a group here in the Netherlands as well. We've done bits of TV here.
Yeah, I've been looking at that body, Benedict.
While I still can. And I work in a gym part time, and then we've got 3 dogs. My foster son lives over here as well now. So life is good.
And what about you, Luke? Because I mean, apart from making this incredible cakes, that I don't know if any of you, your former housemates have seen what you actually make, but they're ridiculously incredible. You need to check it out. It's the brownies, the blonde are insane.
Luke, I need your Instagram page.
Yeah, I think it's
Chef
Luke. Chef Luke.
What is it?
Chef Luke.
That's Luke. Okay.
I'm still Luke.
Okay.
Instagrams after this, because there's so many fake ones out there. I never know whether I'm talking to you guys or fake people.
Yeah.
Well, I am.
It's the same thing, Lauren, with some of the housemates. But Luke, yeah, I mean, I spoke to you. I mean, what you're doing at the minute is amazing, and the food that you're putting out is just ridiculous. So tell us about life after the house. Obviously, winning the show for you is completely different. So you won the show, won the money. So talk through kind of your journey afterwards.
Okay, well, I won half the money.
Connor.
Connor.
He's not here to explain himself a little bit. Where is Connor Lewis?
What was that, sorry?
Where is Connor?
Oh,
so
Connor,
we messaged everyone, and some people just think Aaron and Connor. I think they just didn't get back. They didn't reply. I know that Dina was meant to be on, so was Adam. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But everyone was asked to appear on this, but not everyone wanted to.
Oh,
Did you get hold of Chris?
Aaron's doing interesting things from what I've seen.
I know. What's all that
What's
about?
he doing? What's he doing?
Look, you know.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Aaron
What's
did
he
message me
doing?
about wanting
Is he a
to
pop
do
star?
something with me, but
Something
I
like that.
had to decline.
Yeah.
Remember the lederhosen he wore in that task? It's a bit like that.
Oh,
Like, that was a sign. We should have known from then.
What? I'm confused. What's going on with him?
He does that by fans thing, doesn't he? He gets his willy out.
Yeah.
Wrong with that?
no, there's no problem with that.
There's showers and everything. I mean, he looks good, but there's action. I mean,
Oh, I mean, I wonder how much money he's making doing that.
well, babe, you know when you used to give us that wink, he still does the wink, babe. That wink that used to make.
No. Stop it.
Babe,
Oh my
So,
God, I can't
yeah,
take
you
it.
need to investigate. Have a little look.
Well, I mean, look, if it works for him, it works for him.
You know
He
what I
stayed
mean?
at my house before. He after the show, he did a weekly thing on my radio show, and then we just not friends anymore. Not so.
Yeah.
Figure itself very quickly, it seems.
But Luke, I mean, yeah, talk us through life after Big Brother for you.
Yeah, okay, so came out the house, hanged out with Adam for a while, got a divorce. We got married young, you know, it's amicable. So paid for a divorce, paid for an engagement ring, married Jamie Lee.
Hey, Jamie Lee.
Hey.
And then all the money was gone.
Was that?
After the divorce and the marriage, all the money was gone.
Yeah, I can't even pay for another one. But, we got twins. We had IVF, obviously. And their names are Arthur and Sophia, and they're little twiglets, we call them. They're 3 years old. And that's why we decided really to do the baking, because it means I can be at home a lot of the time with them and watch them grow instead of being in the sweaty kitchen for 12 hours a day. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So how can people find the page? Well, what's the Instagram for the your cake business?
It's by Craven Cupcakes.
Yeah, you're going to get
By cupcakes. I'm just going to Google it.
Ashley's already on that. You'll get an order come through any minute now.
We've got a website.
You can make
You
one.
deliver to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamie said, for you, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
She's going to deliver herself. Yeah.
Did you ever get the surgery?
No, never went for that. Even though the papers have said I did.
That's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be arsed in the end because I said to Jamie when we were sort of together, I said, does it bother you? And she said, I'm not arsed. And here we are. Yeah.
And you look amazing anyway.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. And Siobhan, tell us about life after Big Brother for you, and what do you do now?
Oh, well, how long have you got, Lewis? Babe, there's only a matter in the day, babe. We've had death, rebirth, divorces, marriages. No, we haven't. So yeah, so I kind of went back, you know, did some, like, tried to do some other little TV bits, and then I was like, actually, this is not going to pay the bill. So let's try and do some other stuff. So went to New York, did something out there for 2 years, was just living my best life with an amazing partner who is now no more. Hence why I'm back on Tinder. Okay. So yeah, I know, babe. I'm getting back on the old wagon. I've got to. So
Yeah,
I
you're
do
gonna get
DM now. Oh yeah, I hope so. I want to be snapped.
You will.
So yeah, so I'm a visual merchandiser now in retail. So I love that, and I make things look pretty, and I'm allowed to be myself, which I love. But yeah, just happy. Like, honestly, even like just seeing you guys here right now, it's literally like we just came out of the house. Literally, I feel the same way about it.
Crazy.
We're just chilling, but it's like, it's nice. So
It's
I've
like
had a good time with someone amazing. So, you know, I'm living life, I'm having fun, enjoying myself. However, there's no mini Siobhan. We need to get that going. So.
Oh, you look amazing. Everyone's going to be swiping right. Or what's the one where the people want, like, it's a yes on Tinder?
Right.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
going to
swipe right.
Yeah.
That way. Or if it's me.
Oh,
that
left.
way.
Yeah, you're going to get everyone swiping now.
Yes, they're going to have to. I haven't got time.
Lauren, what's life been like for you since being in the Big Brother house, and what do you do now?
So when I left, I went straight back to uni, which was weird. Like, it was so weird walking up lecture theatres and people were like, "You have to get us on Big Brother." So that was strange. Stayed in England for a little bit. Then I went back to Jersey. I worked with people with disabilities. Then I worked for the ambulance service. And during that time, I was doing like a little bit of fitness and bodybuilding. Then I turned pro in that. Moved to Melbourne amid COVID. Borders shut. My lovely boyfriend here, Aaron, hello.
Hi,
Aaron
Oh,
was supposed to come to Melbourne. Sorry?
No, Siobhan was very interested.
She's like, bring it back.
I moved to Melbourne to go be PT in one of the big gyms over there. The borders closed. Aaron was supposed to come a few weeks after me, couldn't join me. So we went to Croatia. Now we're kind of stuck in Turkey. So yeah, that's it.
Oh my goodness.
That
Wow.
is awesome.
It's been so nice getting you all on here, because obviously it's been a long time since you were in that house, and you've all you've grown, you've done so much since. So is it kind of for you, when you see people on here, is it weird seeing everyone, or does everyone just seem the same, that you remember when they were in the house?
Same but
seems
different.
nicer.
Yeah.
They seem nicer.
That's right. Of course.
It feels like we haven't left though. I kind of want to go back, maybe just for like a week, so we can just spend some time together.
Yeah, we should do a reunion, like all get together, like maybe like London or whatever. I actually think that would be so nice.
I was originally slightly dreading it, because I know I came across as a bit of a patronising idiot sometimes, and some people didn't particularly like me. But so I was a bit worried who was going to be on here. But I've actually really enjoyed it and loved seeing all of you. I feel all warm and bubbly inside. Like,
Same. I feel
get together at some point.
We'll just have a virtual hug.
Friendship.
Yeah, no, Jane, you are actually a legend. He's a legend. I don't think people understand.
That's different.
No, listen, you are amazing. Honestly, your personality, I'm sorry, you could tell me anything, Ben, anything.
Do you know what, Benedict? I will say,
Say
right? Do you know what
something.
it is? When I was in that house, I did. Me and you would really get along now because I'm such an open-minded person. Back then, I was so narrow-minded about everything, and I do feel like me and you would really click now. Like we would, you know, we would click like on a good level, yeah. Because you're quite.
And I must say, there was one thing I did regret saying to you, and I apologise for what I said to you. But you know, you were young. You know, you're allowed to be. Being young, you make mistakes. You do things.
Exactly.
You do things you look back and you're embarrassed about. There's nothing wrong with that. Never look back and regret anything. Just it's part of your life experience. It's part of growing. It's part of being who you are and getting to where you are now. I mean, and I'm still growing. I'm still an immature idiot inside. It's just how you hide it. That's all.
Oh no! Do you know what?
Are you still wanking in the bath?
Am I still wanking in the bath?
Yeah, sometimes.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Oh, that's brilliant.
No, honestly, thank you so much for taking part in this reunion. It's so nice to get you all on. Obviously, we're meant to have Dina and Adam. I'm not sure what's gone on there if they've not been able to join, but thank you so much for taking your time today to take part in this and reflect on your time in the Big Brother house.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks for having us, Lewis.
Thanks so much.
Good to
Thanks
see you
very
all.
much.
There we go. What a great reunion. Don't forget, I am still looking to reunite some of the housemates that couldn't make this, and we'll put that on later on in the show. If you've missed any of the reunions from Series 1 to this moment, please check the link description below and have a catch up. There's some great episodes not to be missed, including Big Brother 5 Reunited, where it all kicked off. Don't forget to come back on Monday for our Big Brother 14 reunion.